Late payments can leave you spending 4 or 5 hours a week checking invoices, writing reminders, and updating notes instead of serving customers. You can reduce that chasing admin with a controlled workflow linking Xero, Make, and ChatGPT. Xero holds your invoices. Make moves information between systems. ChatGPT prepares a clear, polite payment reminder. You stay in control before anything reaches a customer. Start in Xero, the accounting platform where you already record invoices, due dates, balances, and customer details. Create a simple rule for overdue invoices. For example, identify invoices that are 7, 14, or 30 days past their due date. Keep the rule consistent. Exclude paid, disputed, and credit note transactions before the workflow does anything else. Make is the automation layer connecting the services. It can check Xero on a schedule, find invoices matching your overdue rules, and pass selected information into the next step. You can run the check daily or choose a less frequent schedule that suits your payment cycle. Begin with one organization and a small test group rather than connecting every customer immediately. Build the workflow in clear stages. First, use Xero as the trigger or scheduled data source. Next, filter for overdue invoices. Then, prepare the customer name, invoice reference, amount due, due date, and payment link. Finally, send that limited information to ChatGPT for an email draft. The sequence should stop automatically if any required field is missing. Your instructions to ChatGPT should reflect your normal credit control policy. Ask for a concise email in British English with a polite opening, the invoice reference, the outstanding amount, the original due date, and a clear request for payment. Tell it not to invent facts, threaten legal action, offer discounts, or change your agreed terms. The draft should support your process, not replace it. A payment link makes the next step easier for the customer. If your Xero setup or payment provider supplies a suitable link, include it in the draft after checking that it points to the correct invoice. Do not assume every customer wants the same route. Some may need bank details, a purchase order check, or a conversation about a genuine dispute. The important safeguard is approval before sending. Route each AI-written reminder to you, a finance administrator, or an approved review inbox. The reviewer checks the customer, invoice, amount, tone, and payment link. Only then should the workflow send the message. This keeps a human in control and gives you a practical audit trail for every reminder. Protect customer information under GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. Send ChatGPT only the data needed to draft the message. Avoid passing unnecessary addresses, phone numbers, notes, or sensitive financial information. Check your organization's data processing arrangements, access controls, retention settings, and internal policy before using customer data. If you are unsure, ask your accountant or data protection advisor. Use different reminder rules for different situations. A first reminder can be friendly and assume the invoice was overlooked. A later reminder can be firmer while remaining professional. Exclude customers with an agreed payment plan, an open complaint, or a disputed delivery. Add a manual review route for unusual amounts and important accounts. Automation works best when exceptions are designed in. Set up an alert when the workflow fails. Make should notify a responsible person if Xero cannot be reached, a field is empty, ChatGPT returns an unusable draft, or an email cannot be sent. Record the failure and the invoice reference. Never let a silent error create false confidence that overdue payments are being chased. With the basics working, the benefit moves beyond individual emails. Your finance team no longer needs to search through Xero every morning for the same information. It can focus on disputed invoices, supplier queries, and customers who need a real conversation. A typical business could reclaim around 4 to 5 hours of invoice-chasing admin each week, depending on volume and process complexity. That time also improves cash flow visibility. You can see which invoices are newly overdue, which reminders are awaiting approval, and which customers need escalation. Use a simple tracker or CRM, meaning Customer Relationship Management System, only if it adds value. Do not create another system just to store information already available in Xero. Keep ownership and status clear. The workflow can also improve consistency across your organization. A new finance administrator can follow the same approval rules as an experienced colleague. Customer communications use a stable tone and include the same essential details. That reduces avoidable errors, while still allowing a person to adapt the message when the relationship or circumstances require more judgment. Once one process is reliable, consider scale carefully. If you manage several brands, create separate rules, sender addresses, approval routes, and templates for each one. If you invoice in multiple currencies, preserve the original currency and amount in every draft. Never allow an automation to convert figures or merge brands without an explicit check. A small test should come before a wider rollout. You may compare this approach with native Xero automations. Built-in reminders can be useful when your needs are straightforward. Make becomes more valuable when you need filters, approval steps, ChatGPT drafting, alerts, or connections to other systems. Compare the cost and maintenance of each option, including make usage, staff review time, and the risk of sending an incorrect reminder. The main challenge is not connecting the tools, it is agreeing the rules before you switch the workflow on. Decide who approves drafts, how many days overdue triggers each reminder, what happens when an invoice is disputed, and when a person makes a phone call. Document those decisions in plain English. Test with internal or low-risk examples, then review the first few live reminders manually. Your immediate step is to choose 5 unpaid invoices in Xero and write down your exact reminder rules. Include the overdue stages, exclusions, reviewer, required fields, and approved payment link. Then build one. Make test workflow that creates a ChatGPT draft without sending it. Review every field, correct the instructions, and only enable sending after the human approval step works reliably. Subscribe for a new UK business automation every week.